What is going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with another footballing match reaction from the FIFA U-20 World Cup. This one, thankfully, is about the United States versus Nigeria contest in one of the most competitive groups, in my opinion. I believe it's Group D. Group D with Ukraine, Nigeria, Qatar, and of course the United States. It's such a really competitive group that the U.S. winning this game doesn't even advance them in any places in the group. They beat Nigeria 2-0 off of what I thought was some silky football. I mean, it was very smooth, very constructed. This team in general, I feel like with Timmy Weah, Sebastian Soto, Brandon Cervina, and Christopher Gloucester, this team is fantastic. This team should continue to be achieving more. I thought the Ukraine game was really unlucky in terms of the result that the U.S. got. They weren't really doing much in the attacking third in that contest. And this contest was the exact opposite. Sebastian Soto getting the start up top. Timmy Weah, I believe, was on the left-hand side, left wing, and then De La Fuente is on the other side. And these three together in the attack just worked so hard, and they worked so well together as well. And I feel like that was the major key into why the United States were able to get the victory against Nigeria. Where the Flying Eagles were very attack-minded, let's put it that way. I mean, they were very unlucky, I feel like, to allow the first goal, the header by Sebastian Soto. It was just terrible marking, and as well, maybe not as good of goalkeeping. Maybe he should have come out for the ball with that being maybe more than 4 or 5 feet away from the goal. So there wasn't really that much length for it, and I mean, Sebastian Soto getting the header for the first goal, and then right as the second half began, getting the through ball from Gloucester and able to just cut it through for the second, which was so good. To get that 2-0 lead early and then just hang on for dear life. And my goodness, did this U.S. team have to hang on for dear life. This game going all the way into the 100th minute. It was 90 plus 10 in extra time. And it was mainly just because the fouls. I mean, the dead balls and foul situations, the U.S. playing more time management when they got that 2-0 lead. And it was cringe to watch. It was difficult to watch it go all the way that far. No red cards for any of the Nigerian players, which in the end, I guess is very fair, but I mean, there were so many open play fouls that it was just unbelievable. But Nigeria actually controlled, I feel like, the attacking portions of this contest. They had more shots on target out of what was a plethora of shots from both squads. I think it was like 30-something shots in total, like 6 or 7 on target for Nigeria, about 4 or 5 for the U.S. So both teams were very good in front of goal, or trying to score in front of goal, but the U.S. were the only ones that were able to finally, make that breakthrough, and they, got 2 of them, which I'm really excited about. And this puts the U.S. in a much better position here for the U-20 World Cup at getting into the knockout rounds. Now, going into this contest, I definitely thought the U.S. had a chance to not only beat Nigeria, but to advance out of the group, and this only makes it easier. The loss from the Ukraine in the first match week was a little disappointing, but going forward with the U.S.'s win over Nigeria, the 2-0 goal difference from that will actually boost them to a +1 overall. They'll sit at 3 points. Unfortunately, they'll be right underneath Nigeria. Nigeria, who now only have a +2 goal difference after their 4-0 demolishing of the Qatar U-20 squad, who also lost to the Ukraine earlier today. So Ukraine are at 6 points. They look like the best team to go through at this point, but I mean, anything can happen at this point. But the U.S. getting a win against Nigeria puts them in a very good position. They go against Qatar, who have let in a plethora of goals so far throughout this tournament. I'm trying to remember what the score of the Ukraine-Qatar game was. I think it was just 1-0 in favor of the Ukraine. So they've allowed 5 goals and they've scored none so far. So the United States, especially with Alexa Timmy Weah, hopefully they'll start Sebastian Soto in the next game as well. And that way, the U.S., can just go right back at them. And Brandon De La Fuente as well. Maybe he can get himself on the score sheet. I know Brandon Cervina came in off the bench in this contest from the midfield to sort of bolster up the midfield in terms of defensive possession and more just passing possession in general. But this 4-3-3 for the U.S. has been absolutely magnificent, and they showed a lot of heart, I feel like, in today's contest, and a lot of good link-up play as well. So the players maybe are finally getting that rhythm in actual competition to sort of link up with each other, know each other's, with more like techniques and more what they favor. So whether they favor their left foot, you know, how much weight to put on this pass, the speed that they got, it's all coming to the U.S. at the right time. And so this win over Nigeria puts them in a better position going up against Qatar, really, because the U.S. need to get at least, in my opinion, a 2-0 win over Qatar as well. So that, at least, you know, bolster up that goal difference, because Ukraine versus Nigeria will be a pretty much winner-take-all game. Ukraine aren't necessarily safe either. They could still also be eliminated, but I think if all the three of these teams end up with 6 points, one of them will probably end up taking that best of spot. I know there's a best of spot where it's like the best point total from, I think it's like A, B, and C, and D, something around those rather something just like that will send the teams through. So maybe if Nigeria beat Ukraine and all three teams end up on 6 points, all three may advance. In what is still, I think, one of the toughest groups in the FIFA U-20 World Cup, probably besides Group A, which, you know, Colombia, Senegal, Poland, the host of the under 20 World Cup, Poland are in that group, and then Tahiti were unfortunate to end up in that group as well. But Sebastian Soto scoring 2 goals and getting a win over Nigeria puts the U.S. at a much better position going forward for the rest of the U20 World Cup. If they get a win over Qatar, I think they're through. Even with a draw, and hopefully if Ukraine beat Nigeria, that first off, that'd be props to Ukraine, because they've been, I feel like, a big underdog through this group in Group D. But the Ukraine lose to Nigeria and they end up on 6 points, the U.S. will have to win in order to try and take that second spot. My thought process is they win 2-0 and they hope that, you know, maybe if Nigeria win 1-0, that they can end up in the same goal difference. The head-to-head would then come into play. The U.S. would advance, and maybe, hopefully, my thought is all three teams could advance out of this group. Ukraine, Nigeria, and U.S. could all three advance out of this group. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the United States versus Nigeria. The U.S. win happily 2-0 thanks to Sebastian Soto, who was relegated to a substitute appearance in the first contest against Ukraine. Starts at striker in the 4-3-3 for this contest. Gets 2 beautiful goals, one from a header and then one with I think it's a right foot shot to the left corner. I can't remember if it was a left foot or right footed shot. But U.S. win 2-0 over Nigeria. You guys should let me know your thoughts on the contest down in the comments below. And let me know if you guys think the U.S. can make some noise for this FIFA U-20 World Cup. I'm hoping that they can continue to battle it out. Maybe, you know, make the knockout rounds. At least a quarterfinal or semifinal, I feel like, would be the right spot for this FIFA U-20 World Cup. And it would be the best for the players of these talents. I mean, we have several. We have a PSG guy, we have a Barcelona guy, and we have several MLS players. So I'm hoping that they can, you know, make some noise, continue to show off the talent that the U.S. has for the future before we even get to the Gold Cup, the CONCACAF Gold Cup, coming up much later in the year. Rather, not much later. I think it's like a week and a half away. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the United States versus Nigeria contest down in the comments below. Let me know if you guys think the U.S. can get a victory over Qatar and advance out of what is a really tough group. But thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.